You know, I didn't even ask you, Lonzo. Did we get the liner in?
I have it, but I haven't put it in the system yet. It's on my
Okay.
It's on my list today.
All right. Make its debut next week.
And the other thing is, I didn't want to put it in and play it before the interview.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages, welcome in. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. It is great to be with you, my friends. How do you do on a Friday morning, y'all? 3 hours of sports talk, entertainment, excellence coming your way starting right this very second. I am the aforementioned Rob Brown, and I am thrilled to have you along for the ride. Directly opposite from me, on the other side of the glass, both literally and metaphorically, in charge of all buttons, wheels, pulleys, gears, knobs, and other required simple machinery to not only get us on the air, but get us on the air and sounding as great as we do. Colonel Grudge, hashtag dad kicks, the content cash cow, the professor of perfection. He is the great one. Lonzo, what up, Zo?
All right, so that last one is so not true. I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if you see this now. If you look out the window, if you look right over the horizon, you will see the weekend. It's right there. It's right there. For us, it will start a little bit earlier than you who are listening. But it's right. And it's a busy weekend for us and for you, hopefully. Rob is making a big debut, and he hasn't talked about it enough. It's a big deal, man. You're going national tomorrow.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, it is a big deal. I'm very excited about it. Starting tomorrow, I, alongside with former Major League Baseball pitcher Cody Decker, will be making our debut on the BetQL radio network with a show, Lonzo. It's all about baseball gambling, all right? It's all baseball gambling. We're giving you picks. We're giving you thoughts. We're doing live bets as they go. We're going to be watching games, and this is actually pretty cool. I'm excited about this. BetQL, Zoe, has acquired the ability for us to check into live baseball games as they're happening. So, if your boy drops a bet of, under on the first 5 for the Braves-Reds game tomorrow, and there's 4 on the board with an out to go, we're actually going to go live to that play-by-play. And for a reference that I don't know if you'll understand, Lonzo, I trust that you will, though, as you are in the nerdom with me, Cody and I are going to be able to MST3K live baseball games. We are going to Mystery Science Theater 3000
all right,
live
so
baseball games.
I got to say, very offended right now that you didn't think I would know.
I said I believed
mystery.
you would because you're in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. I mean, you and I could do that show.
Arguably the funniest television show of all time is Mystery Science Theater 3000. And if you've never seen it, I feel bad for you.
The worst thing is when one of the movies that you really love shows up on there and they start cracking on it. It's like,
oh, yeah. It's so good. So tomorrow, Cody Decker and I, from 1 p.m. till 5 p.m., we'll be live on the BetQL radio network, and that includes right here on WTPT 3 HD radio and on the BetQL network. All you got to do is get the Odyssey app, AUDACY, get the Odyssey app, tune in to the BetQL network tomorrow from 1 to 5, and ya boy and Cody Decker will be talking baseball. Here's my favorite part, Lonzo. We had a meeting with them about a week and a half ago. Me, Cody, Jesse, who is the executive producer for BetQL Network, and some others, as well as our producer. And this is great. Check this out. Check this out, Zoe. I have not only a dedicated radio producer who will not be as good as Lonzo, but is a very nice young guy. I also have a video producer, and his only job is to make our stream look good. And Lonzo, I have a video researcher. All this guy's job is to feed me stats and info and news and keep me up to date with everything going on in my ear while I do this show. I don't even have to, I got a show prep to have my bets ready, but in game, this guy's basically going to tell me everything that's going on while it's happening, so I can just roll with it.
You're going to be pampered.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I told him, I'm like, guys, you are going to spoil me. I'm going to have to go back to work on Monday and start demanding that I get assistance.
You go for that.
And that's assistance with an NTS on the end, not an NCE. Assistance, as in people, as opposed to assistance of help, which people tell me I need all the time.
I get it. I get it. But again, we are always accepting interns here at the Fan Upstate.
Here's the even better part, Zoe. That's fun. That's cool. I like that. I'm excited about it. Here's the best part about it, Lonzo. They asked Cody and I, are you guys against the name of the show being a pun? And I went, am I against it? No. I'm for it.
Now, is it a good pun now?
Would you like to know the name of the show, and I'll let you decide?
Or is it a dad pun?
Do you know what they call it, Lonzo, in a baseball game? When a player hits a single, a double, a triple, and a home run in the game.
That would be called the cycle.
That is correct. And if he goes to bat in his fourth or fifth AB with a single, a double, a triple, and he is batting a home run, they use the phrase.
All right. That I don't know.
He's batting for the cycle.
Oh, okay.
So the name of tomorrow's show that I will make my national debut on alongside Cody Decker, Lonzo, is Betting for the Cycle.
I love it.
I love it.
I love it. Shout out to my daughter real quick who hit for the cycle in the state championships for softball when she was like 9.
Nice.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Betting for the Cycle makes its debut. Oh, hi, Raven, by the way. Betting for the Cycle makes its debut tomorrow, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get here on TPT3 HD Radio here in the Upstate. You can also grab the Odyssey app, tune into the BetQL Radio Network, and listen to it on your cell phone. Or you can go to Twitch or YouTube. You can go to Twitch or YouTube, and you can find it there as well. Can't wait, ladies and gentlemen. Going to be a great time. Hope that you will join me and Cody Decker tomorrow for the very first edition of our brand new show, Bet for the Cycle.
I just want to congratulate you for being the first host here on The Fan to have a regular national show. I think that is awesome.
Thanks, man. Pretty stoked about it. I'm pretty geeked about it. I get to watch. And by the way, the second best part about all of this, here, Zoe, is that, I've always said my job is awesome, and it is, right? My job's great. I go to all the sports. I cover it for a living. I come in here. I talk to you guys about it for a few hours every day. My job is great. Now, Lonzo, on Saturdays, I'm getting paid a bag of cheddar to sit on my own couch, in my own house, and watch baseball. That's it. That's my job tomorrow. 1 to 5, watch and talk about baseball. My life, Lonzo, it ain't that bad. It's really not.
So again, all the people, all the listeners at home, and I feel bad for you, but when you're watching something, your wife says, "Hey, can you get up and do this?" You can't say what Rob can say.
I can't, honey.
I'm working.
I'm really sorry. I'm in the middle of work right now. But you're just watching baseball. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. About roughly, Lonzo, about 100% of the women I've dated in my life, right? I've told them all when I start dating them, listen, I watch and attend a lot of sports, like a lot. And when I get asked how much is a lot, my response is, I want you to think in your head, whatever your definition of a lot of sports is, and I want you to triple that, right? And what inevitably happens for me is that we get a handful of months into the relationship, and they're like, can you take a break from sports? Nope. It is my job. And they go, but I see you at the hockey games, and you're like wearing jerseys and drinking beers and eating hot dogs. Is that really work? Yeah. It is. It is. The reason it's awesome is because my job is awesome. Just because I'm having a great time doesn't mean it's not work, right? Yes. Sitting on my couch for 4 hours watching baseball and talking about it on the radio tomorrow is something that is going to be awesome to do. And I'm going to do it every Saturday from now until the end of baseball season. Are you going to just watch baseball Yes! Yes, I am. It's my job. It's my job. Right? You go to the job and you work at the bank. It sucks that you don't roll up into the bank as geeked as I do, like I was yesterday when I was sitting in Section 110 when the Greenville Triumph knocked off the Oakland Roots from the USL Champions League, by the way. That is an upset for the boys. When the Triumph get a 2-0 win on the back of goals by Jake Keegan and Dom Smart to go up 2-0 on a Champions League team and move on to the third round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Go freaking Triumph up the GVL. And I was having a blast, Alonzo. In fact, I was getting texts from people. My drummer down in Orlando was watching the match on ESPN+. I got a Facebook message from a listener yesterday who said, hey, are you in the supporter section playing the drum? I think I saw you on ESPN. And I said, hell yeah, I am. And this is my job. Isn't it great?
Did your drummer critique or give you any tips?
Yeah, he said, don't break the stick like I did. So that's the thing that happened.
Well, you got to have multiples in the back pocket, right?
I forgot and only brought 2 in.
Oh.
Yeah. Last 15 minutes was me. But anyway, yes, I broke something. Shocking, I know. GVL Triumph win 2-0 over the Oakland Roots. Move on to the third round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. As we mentioned, the undercard team that advances the furthest in this tournament wins a check for $25K. And there's more money on the table should they be able to pull off the impossible and advance all the way into the quarter, semis, or finals. Has not happened for a lower level team in many years. But the boys yesterday pulled off a 2-0 upset. Look good doing it. And if this team is able to make it to a certain level, if this team gets to a certain ranking in this tournament, there is absolutely the chance, Lonzo, that they could end up squaring off with MLS teams. They could very well end up in a match with Atlanta United. Let's blanking go. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. All right. My job's awesome. That's real. I was just using the whole segment to brag about A, I start a nationally syndicated radio show tomorrow, and B, my life's pretty good.
Hey, before we go to break or whatever, there's some more bragging that needs to be done because we've got something coming up at 11:20.
It's true.
Which was such an amazing thing. I'm still smiling about it.
It's true. It's true. It's damn true. Coming up at 11:20 this morning, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, the great one and I got a chance to sit down and face-to-face interview the legendary Tony Schiavone of All Elite Wrestling in one of the better interviews. We've done, well, let's start with this. Every interview that Lonzo and I do is a great interview. All right, let's just call it what it is. Every interview Lonzo and I do is a great interview. We have had a great interview with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, with Paul White. We have had Matt Hardy on the show. And we add to the ranks Tony Schiavone, who was hilarious, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and warn you in advance. Going to be a couple of beeps in this interview. All right? Because Schiavone, I got the impression when Tony got logged in, he was like, hey guys, I just flew into Boston.
When he got logged in.
When he got logged in.
And after he figured out how to make the sound work, which was great.
He told me I was allowed to share this. We were supposed to do that interview at 1 o'clock. That interview started about 1:35. Schiavone gets on, it gets set up, and he goes, I got to apologize for being late, guys. He said, I'm going to tell you the truth about what happened. He said, I had to fly back in. He lives in Virginia. He said, I flew back home, and I have this habit of I always take the earliest flight out of the airport in the morning, right? So they did AEW Dynamite Wednesday in Boston. He flew from Boston back to Virginia. Georgia, sorry.
He lives in Georgia.
He's in Georgia now. He's originally from Virginia.
His family's in Virginia, which you'll hear about in the interview.
So anyway, he said, I had to get up. I take the earliest flight I could. He said, I flew in, and I'm not going to lie, I just fell asleep on the plane, and it took me a little longer to get home than I thought it would. So Schiavone gets on. Then he takes about 15 minutes to get the sound working on his computer. And the first thing he says to us when he gets hooked up is, don't worry about me, guys. I'm a broadcast professional. Then later on, by the way, and you'll hear this, Tony Schiavone revealed something to us that the staff at AEW that I work with went, we did not know that about him. He revealed something to us that John, the guy that I work with to set up these talent relations interviews with, we get done with the stream and John goes, I didn't know that, Schiavone. I didn't know that. It was fantastic. So that interview's coming up at 11:20 this morning. You're going to want to see, even if you're not a wrestling guy, even if you're not a wrestling fan, he's got some stories for you.
Yeah, I guarantee you, after you hear this interview, you're going to want to go to South Carolina Comic-Con this Saturday and Sunday so you can meet Tony Schiavone at the Greenville Convention Center.
Oh, yeah. Going to be great. 11:20 this morning. All right, let's do this. Let's run to a break. When we come back, we dive headfirst into the sports of the day, and there is plenty of it. A Masters leaderboard. How about Eldrick in the top 10? A 1 under 71 yesterday, including some spectacular birdies and par saves that had the crowd riled up. We're going to break that down for you and give you a day 2 preview. Major League Baseball's opening day yesterday, and the Bravos unveiling their World Series banner and rings, then losing to the Reds. Don't panic, Atlanta fans. I got 2 reasons why you shouldn't. We're going to talk about that coming up in just a minute. And a couple of audio pieces that you have to hear, including one NFL coach straight up telling a podcast that an NFL team openly violated the Rooney Rule and nothing ever came of it. That and more coming up. I'm Rob. He's the great one, Lonzo, and this is the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about my friends at Harley-Davidson of Greenville. Why? Well, because if you're in the mood for a bike, right, and it does not matter whether you are a first-time rider who's never sat on a motorcycle before or you have been in the game for many, many moons, you need to go see my friends at Harley-Davidson.
All right, I brought us back online. By the way, in an old man moment, behind the stream is still that picture that we put up there. You can't see it because the video's up there. But if I took the video down, you'd see that picture that we put up yesterday during the interview. I can't figure out how to get it down on that TV. On that TV. I can't figure out how.
You got to push escape on the keyboard.
I did. It didn't work. Not only did I hit escape, I hit it multiple times. We'll do it later. I don't want to mess with. Well. I tell you, I hit it.
No. Function F11.
Oh, okay.
Brings you full screen.
All right.
So you can close that or just open the YouTube back up.
Okay.
There we go.
Function F11?
Yep.
Is that what you said?
Anything you put on the screen and then push function F11 makes it full monitor.
Now all I got to do is remember that, which I might be able to do. I don't.
All right, let's see who we got in the chat. Steven, happy Friday and day after a triumphing day. Yeah, dude, what a match. What a match from the boys. After a L in game number 1, I was curious about what they were going to look like last night, and they looked inspired. Brian said, LOL, go Cubbies. Cubs are a divisional threat this year, Brian. No doubt about that. Keegan says, triumph. Yes, indeed, they did triumph. That is correct. And Tiger Stripe Stream. Welcome in, Tiger Stripe Stream. That's a new watcher, viewer, or at least new commenter. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for hanging out.
So are we going to release? What time are we going to release the video? Because there's content in the video that's not going to be in the interview.
After the show.
And we can tease that.
Yeah. After the show, I'll put it up.
Good morning, Josh.
Skrilla, morning, big dog. Welcome in. Glad to have you, partner. And by the way, everybody that watches streams at any point, feel free to share them around if you've got any friends you think would enjoy the show, man. We're trying. Listen, we have to grow our online audience. We just have to. So, all right, the Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. You're you. Phone lines open, 844-FAN, phone, F-A-N-F-O-N-E, 844-326-3663. Preferred Home Services text line is up and available for you as well at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. We will read them on the air. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. Texter says, Fan, congrats on the national debut, Rob. Love having you on the morning show now. Got me stoked for the day. Go Yankees. Thank you, fella. Thank you very much. Texter says, Fan, and I saw you at work. So I guess they were watching the soccer match last night on a little TV on ESPN Plus. Glad to have you.
Or maybe they were actually there.
Also true. Also true. So there you go. Appreciate those texts on the Preferred Home Services text line 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. And by the way, you have to start your text with FAN because that's how we filter them through. If you don't, it'll get lost in all the other texts that come to that number.
Have you pushed the info button?
Yeah, that's why I said that.
Okay, all right.
That's a fun little nifty trick I learned 2 years and a month into this job.
Well,
it's not your fault.
Yeah, well.
Someone has definitely told me I'm just an idiot. So it is what it is.
Well, it's a good thing that something came up to make you ask about that and to realize that you were, and now you know. So there we go.
All right. Lonzo, I'm a food guy. I love
really
food. Shocking, I know.
Are you serious?
Shocking, I know, in the fact that I fill out this XL hockey jersey well. I'm a food guy. I like food. And, you know, I regularly during the week, like I try to eat budget-minded. You know what I mean? Like I go to the store and I buy pre-made salad packs and I use those and I try, you know, if I'm going to make burgers, I try to make a bunch at a time to save some, etc. But every now and then when you're going to do something special, right? when I'm going to do something special, I will save up a little money so that I can have a bit of an extravagant meal. If I'm going on vacation, I bring extra money for food. When I was in New York last year, right? The lady friend and I dropped like $1.25 to get the best pizza in Manhattan. Like, we did the research to find the best pizza place in Manhattan according to New Yorkers. And we went to a restaurant and dropped like $1.25 to have a bunch of different pizza from the best pizza joint in New York. If I got something special, I go bananas on the food. So here, Lonzo, is this worth it? Is this worth it? Over in Atlanta at Truist Park, where the champions play, your Atlanta Braves, they are celebrating the 151st season of Braves baseball. Of course, that includes the Boston Braves, the Milwaukee Braves, et cetera, et cetera. 151 seasons of Braves baseball. And to celebrate that, they are selling a special, this season only, Atlanta Braves burger. That burger, Lonzo, is described as a half-pound Wagyu beef burger on a toasted Irish buttered brioche bun, topped with cage-free pan-fried eggs, gold leaf wrapped Hudson Valley foie gras, grilled cold water lobster tail, heirloom tomato, garden fresh bib lettuce, Tillamook cheddar cheese, and a truffle aioli. It is served with Parmesan waffle fries. That's a nice burger.
Is it? Because there's some things on there that I don't know what they are. Like the thing that started with
Gold leaf wrapped Hudson Valley foie gras.
Yeah, that's the one. You don't know what it is either.
Foie gras is a popular, well-known delicacy in French cuisine. It is a... Foie gras is defined as the liver of a duck or goose fattened by gavage, force-feeding them. In Spain and other countries, it is produced using natural feeding. Ducks are force-fed twice a day for 12 and a half days. Geese 3 times a day for around 17 days. Ducks are typically slaughtered at 100 days. Geese at 112.
I don't know that we needed all that, but I just wanted to know what it was.
It's gold leaf wrapped
liver.
Duck liver.
Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right.
So, yeah, I would name it something French too, because if you throw the liver part in there, people are going to be like, I don't know.
Literally yesterday on Offsides, Diesel revealed his love of liver mush.
Okay.
At least with foie gras, I can pretend I'm eating fancy something as opposed to, hey, take the liver out and then mush it up real good.
They sell liver mush in like sausage things, I think, and also in containers, because I used to work in a grocery store and I didn't understand it, and I still don't, but that's fine. I am sure that liver mush is very popular back in the woods.
According to Wikipedia, several festivals exist around the state of North Carolina dedicated to liver mush.
There we go.
All right, so it is a Wagyu beef burger on a toasted Irish brioche bun, topped with cage-free pan-fried eggs, gold leaf wrapped Hudson Valley foie gras, grilled cold water lobster tail, heirloom tomato, garden fresh bib lettuce, Tillamook cheddar cheese, and a truffle aioli. And that burger, Lonzo, can be yours for the price of just $151. My question is, when I make it over to Truist Park for a game this year, right? When I get to Truist for a game, is it ridiculous of me to put away an extra $151 so that I can buy this Braves burger while I celebrate the World Series championship?
Yes, it is. I'm not going to pretend like I've seen meals where the food was laced in gold, and it was for some of the most expensive foods in the entire world.
The foie gras is literally gold leaf.
Yeah, this is, and it's not like the liver would make me go, nah, because I would still try it.
Yeah.
But I ain't paying $150 for a hamburger.
But you get a lobster tail on it. That's $70 by itself.
How big is this thing?
Freaking huge.
You said a half pound of beef.
There's the picture of it right there.
Okay, does that look real appetizing? to most people. I mean, to me and
I was
you,
gonna say to most people,
to me and
maybe
you, we're
not.
like, yeah.
To me, I was like, damn.
Look at that egg. I don't know.
That's a good-looking burger, bro.
Does egg go well with lobster tail?
So that's my only thing is because the egg being soft-boiled means it's gonna get all yolky.
Which is what you want. You want it to be drippy and and messy.
Agreed.
For sure.
$151. But here's the thing. It's regularly $151. Or, Lonzo, you can purchase the upgraded burger.
Oh, now we're talking.
The upgraded burger is only $25,151.
Okay.
The side that you get for $25,151, Lonzo, is an official World Series ring from the Atlanta Braves with your burger. You get an official World Series ring with your burger for the low price of just $25,151.
Can you just buy the ring and just save you $151?
If you have got $25K to buy a ring with a logo for a team you do not play on, I don't think the extra $151 for the burger is going to break you. You know what I mean? Sorry, guys. I only budgeted $25K for the concession stand today. Can't throw down the $151 for the burger after.
In today's economy, or any economy, let's put it that way, when you put together something like this, do you really expect people to buy this? Put the ring aside, because rich people, if that's what they want, they're going to do that, because you have to be rich to do that, to pay that much. But you kind of got to be upper level of economics to afford $151 for a hamburger.
I think you treat that as like a thing, right? Like, I am going to the Braves game while they defend the World Series title, and I'm getting a Braves burger to mark the moment. I'm taking selfies with that burger, right? I'm walking down to the dugout. I'm gonna try to get a selfie with Ronnie Acuna in the background while I eat my $151 burger. Like, that's an experience to me. That is the same to me as, like I said, when I went to New York and Courtney and I dropped like $1.25 in a pizza joint, right? A pizza joint. It's not like we went to a 5-star Michelin restaurant and dropped $1.25. We went to a pizza joint and put $1.25 down on the table so we could get like 17 pieces of all their best pies. But to me, that wasn't like, OMG, you spent $1.25 at a pizza joint. That was, we got to spend $125 to try New York's best pizza. And it was worth it to me.
Do you think they have a senior discount? Asking for a friend.
On the $151 burger, maybe. All right, let's see. We got some text comes in. Texture says, fan, I was a chef in Atlanta. That sounds par for the course. Yeah, no, big city food's expensive. I get it. But $1.51 for a burger seems a bit over the top. However, I'm probably going to do it. Texture says, poached egg is a sister to hollandaise. I'm a big hollandaise fan. Hollandaise is an underrated condiment.
I have to admit, I'm not sure I've had hollandaise before. I probably have, but it doesn't stand out in my mind. The word is awesome, but I don't think I've had that. No.
Steven says, dude, a lobster omelet with brie is awesome. Hey, that is 1/3 of the main ingredients in this burger.
I just got to say, we need to roll with Steven.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Texas says sure, I will try that burger and have two if Robin Lonzo treat. No, did you not just hear the fact that we are having an existential crisis over can we afford one burger? Lonzo and I might have to go halfies on that burger.
Even half? Well, let's bring in 2 more people. It's a pretty big burger. A quarter of that would be all right.
Texas says, fan, Rob, I'll split it with you. Yeah, that might be the only way for me to do it. And finally, fan, I'm calling PETA. Yes. People for the edible treatment of animals. Sorry, ethical. My bad.
Just trying to figure out how do you force feed a duck to make its liver bigger. don't get me wrong. I like the someone just holding the duck's bill and it's going, wah, wah.
The force feeding aspect of it is kind of gross, right? The force feeding aspect's kind of gross, but apparently
it depends on what it depends on what. I mean, you may be on PETA's site when you're looking at it, and of course they're going to call it a force feed. Maybe they just give them extra food and they eat it. I don't know.
I was going to say now, If it just means you give the ducks all the food they want and
Yeah.
let them eat until they hate themselves, then I force feed me all the time. Let me get Kevin in here. Going ham at 9 a.m. Kevin, welcome in, my guy. Good to have you, buddy.
What's happening?
What's up, big dog?
Oh, man, I'm going to tell you, I keep 25,000 in my sock at all time, man. So, you know, we can ride down. And I got it in ones, too. So we can go down there and get this ring, eat this burger, and probably throw up afterwards. But, you know, hey, let's go down here and make this thing happen
Kevin,
real quick, Coach.
If you are rolling around with 25K in ones, you're not going to Truist. You're going to Magic City, buddy.
It's a stop on the way before I get there and get my appetite together.
Fair enough.
Man, I'm a Laker fan to the heart, bro.
Even right now?
Wherever he feels like going. I don't care where he goes, we're going to get him out of a Laker uniform.
Really? Wait, hold up. You watched Russell Westbrook. You watched AD live half the season in a hospital. You watched the complete and total lack of pride and effort out of everybody on that team not named Reams. You watch Braun at 37 go put up 50 like numerous times, and you're going to put this at the feet of the king, Kevin?
I'm putting this at the feet of the king because let me tell you what you don't do. You don't sit out on your team. I don't care what you got going on. If we got to get in this playoff run, you play. You put your jersey on, and you go out here and you leave it all on the court. Then you take 2 days off and come back and score 50. Take another 2 days off, come back and score 50. But we lose these other games that we playing. Why are you sitting on the sideline like, yeah, I'll probably come back and score 50 next week, and then we'll win. And then I'm a problem because I can showboat and show you how good I am. Mike never showboated. If Mike needed to get in the playoffs, he did everything he could do to get in the playoffs.
Hold, Kevin.
Let's go.
You just tried to tell me Mike the Shrug never showboated?
He showboated.
Thank you. That's all I needed.
When Mike cooked you, when Mike was cooking you, he didn't scream to the crowd, I'm a problem. He just looked you in your face and knew he was cooking you. You knew it. Then when you got to talking to him, he might say a little bit of this, but he about to score 25 straight on you, and now you down by 30.
All right, Kevin, first off.
LeBron needs to take over and go get his. He still don't do it.
Kevin.
He's been in the league 19 years and still won't do it. Oh, I'm a pass. He will never.
I know, isn't
never get what Mike gets.
Isn't
Mike
it terrible?
Always the greatest.
Isn't it terrible when a guy's giving you 8 or 9 assists every game? What a terrible thing to teach kids. Is that assists are bad?
We're not winning.
What you mean you're not winning? LeBron put up 50 in the 4 wins you had. It was all the other ones that nobody else was showing out.
In the 4 wins that we had, why he didn't score 50 and 6 of them in to show he was the man?
Kevin, hold up. You are telling me that you are mad that a 37-year-old player ain't scoring 50 enough times for you. Ain't nobody else scoring 50 like LeBron, Kevin.
If I got to score 50 every night for my boys, I'm going to score 50 every night for my boys because that's my team. That's who I ride with. I'm not going to load manage tonight because I feel like it.
Kevin, I love you, buddy. I do. I appreciate you, fella. We got to run. Thanks for checking in. Love that dude. I'm going to go ahead and declare Kevin is P1 now. All right? P1 is earned, not given. We got probably 7 P1s in the crowd right now. I'm going to go ahead and make it 8. Kevin's P1. Let's take a break back after this to wrap up hour number 1 of the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. I love that dude. That dude's welcome every day. Calling in to trash Braun for not scoring 50 enough. That is amazing. Where I put my phone? I ain't drop it.
Maybe you left it in the office.
Did I?
I don't know. I didn't take it. Oh no, Rob gave me that look like I'm pranking him, like I hid his phone. Now I kind of want to do that, which is wrong of me, I know, but still,
I left it on my charger.
see, I almost feel like you side-eyed me, like I hid your phone, which
No,
is
no, no,
almost
not at all. I was
is
literally
almost like a
scanning.
challenge to hide your phone.
Listen,
which I'm not
first
going
off,
to
it's
do.
Absolutely not. Second off, the amount of times in a week that I look for something and it turns out it's just right there is astounding.
I should have known. It was pretty quiet during that last segment, so obviously you didn't have your phone. Have you seen the pictures of Moxley at the wedding? At Carmella and Corey Graves' wedding. He's trending because of it. That's the reason why I was. Did you find some? There's.
For him right now. Perfect. With
just-
the fanny pack included.
Yeah, and just all the people that are in the picture. I mean, you know. Wait, aren't they supposed to hate each other? How are
Right.
they at a wedding together?
Shut it, Marks.
The heck is Baron Corbin doing there? Wait, is that Nia Jax? No.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. Let me ask you about this. Ronald Acuna earlier in the week got asked what he's going to miss about Freddie Freeman, and his answer was nothing. Said, I'm not going to miss nothing about that dude. Asked to clarify, Ronnie said he plays for another team now, right? Like, why am I supposed to miss a dude who plays for another team? And here's the thing.
Kayfabe?
I don't know. People started getting upset at Ronnie, like, oh, how do you disrespect Freddie? He put 14 years into that program before he moved on. How you going to disrespect Freddie? Here's the thing. I actually don't care. I don't care, right? People, oh, this is going to be a bad look for Ronald Acuna Jr. I don't think it is. I think it's going to be one of those things that a handful of people are upset about for about a week, and then it just goes away because nobody really cares, right? Here's the thing. Think about it this way if you're a Braves guy, right? And I'm talking about a player, not a fan. If you're a Braves fan, you feel this way about Freddie because the dude gave you 14 years in a World Series ring before he took off. But if you are Ronald Acuna Jr., if you're playing for the Braves, you are going out there this year to defend your World Series championship, to try to go back-to-back. And here's a cat that got offered the bag by Atlanta, waited over 100 days, put the Braves into a real tough spot, right? Because they had to go through the lockdown without having Freddie as a member of the roster, not knowing which direction was going to go. The lockout ends. You still don't have Freddie, so you still don't know what direction you're going to go. And even after offering Freddie the bag, and Freddie saying, I want more, which don't get me wrong, I understand, right? I've said, get the bag. Young people, I promise you, it's really nice to work in a place that you're loved, that you're wanted. It's a big bonus. I do. But you still got to get as much out of it as you can, right? It's awesome to live in a place that, to work in a place that you're loved and wanted. But here's the thing. If you disappear from the face of the planet tomorrow, you're replaced in a week. That's just how the world works, man. So get the bag. I got no problem with that. But the problem that a guy like Ronnie's going to have is we came back. We got all the expectations. We got all the momentum. My team, the team I rep every day, my team offered you the bag. You turned it down. You went to LA for effectively the same amount of money. You left us for them, and this may or may not be true, but it certainly sounds like you did it because that's what your wife wanted, right? I'll tell you right now, it is one thing for a friend of mine to stop hanging out with the friends group because he got a new job, right? I'm going through that right now. My new wake-up call is 6 a.m. Therefore, my 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30 a.m. Call of Duty days are over. And I told the boys, you'll see me on weekends, but I'm not going to be on weeknights playing Call of Duty until 4 a.m. It's a whole different thing if nothing changed, but your buddy goes, I got a new girlfriend, and she doesn't like me playing Call of Duty, so I'm out. Well, now I'm mad at you, right? That's kind of the spot Ronnie finds himself in. So Ronald says, we offered this dude the bag. He said no. He went to LA for the same bag. The feeling is it's because his influencer wifey wanted to be in LA. Yeah, I moved on, right? He's out the fan group. He's out the friends group. I took him out of the My 5 circle. He's not in my top 8 on MySpace anymore. I'm out. Everybody's mad at Ronald like this is the worst thing that's how dare you disrespect Freddie. Did Freddie not kind of disrespect the Braves a little bit, right? It wasn't like the Braves weren't offering him money and he's going, I want a 10-year contract. You are 37 years old, Freddie. We can't sign you till you're almost 50, dude, for the money that you want. So he goes to LA. He gets 2 more years at almost the exact same pay rate that the Braves offered him. Again, may or may not be true, but there's certainly enough to support that he did it because that's where wifey wants to be so she can pop up her Instagram career or whatever. Why y'all acting like Ronnie's got to be falling over backwards to talk about how incredible a not teammate of his is? They don't play together, man. They did for a long time, and it's great. But he decided that being in LA is more important than staying on that team with Ronnie. They're not friends. They're not teammates. They don't need to be. And the story was Ronnie's upset Because when Ronnie joined the Braves, Ronnie got told you can't wear big eye black patches, right? That's the thing. The Braves have uniform standards like the Yankees do. Your hair can be a certain length. You got to wear it, present it a certain way. Always wear a jersey and BP. And you can't have giant eye black spots. Ronnie wanted big eye black spotches as a rookie. Freddie told him no because he was the clubhouse leader. He said, look, this is how we do it. Do it our way or don't do it at all. And don't get me wrong, like, okay, you signed up to play for the Braves. If eye black was a deal breaker, you shouldn't have done it. But all of that is to the side. Ronnie, don't play for him no more. Ronnie decided LA was more important. Deuces. So why do y'all need Ronald or Freddie? Why do you need Ronnie falling over backwards to talk about how super duper he is? He's gone, Atlanta. He's a Dodger now. Let him go. Album number 2 is next on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Tell me if you know what this text means. Fan, that's hilarious considering you won't be going to NASCAR on Easter. Double standard, Rob? What did I say that would be a double standard about?
I can't help you there. I don't know.
So,
yeah, it's Get robbed. I can't help it. I don't like it. I'm just gonna make fun of it. I just don't like it.
Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show starts now. Get robbed right here on the Fan Upstate.
Or maybe I did it just because I know the boss is listening closely right now. You know, tough love is still love.
Yeah. Yeah, I may have accidentally dropped the old station moniker in a rejoin, which is what I get for trying to multitask.
All I can say is if dropping the old station letters was a drinking game, people will be stone cold sober right now because you've done that
Once
well.
this week.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all.
That's what I get for multitasking, man. And I get text from the sales folks downstairs that are like, "Hey, can you cut this for me?" And I've got to respond with "Sure," but in like 2.5 hours, can you chill, right? And then I got caught up in that, so I made a mistake. It happens. This is the Fan Upstate, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rob Brown. He is Lonzo, the great one. Glad to have you along for the ride.
I can confirm that the boss is listening. I've been challenged. He'll probably get mad, but I don't care. You can produce a new intro. Let's hear it. Well, you know, boss, I am an award-winning producer. I can never come close to the perfection that is your production. It wasn't about the fact that it says "get robbed." I just thought the voices should be more wrestler-like. Did that work? You think that worked?
I ain't getting involved in this at all, Jack. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm about 77 levels lower than you on the pecking order, and you think for a second I'm throwing my hand in that ring? No, I'm not even coming out to watch the match. I'm staying backstage. I'm in catering to watch this one, y'all. No thanks.
I will try to curb my criticisms in the future, but I probably won't.
I have left catering. I am now watching it on a monitor across the street. I want no part of that one. Not a bit. Second hour is going to be crazy busy. Let's get into it. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? Should jump right into it. Let me get some audio here, if you don't mind, Lonzo. I'm gonna play you a little bit of audio here. This comes from a podcast that a couple of Steelers fans do. They were talking to a former Pittsburgh Steelers coach. This is interesting. This audio comes after Brian Flores' lawsuit against the NFL has expanded. The Tennessee Titans are one of the teams that has now been added as a defendant. Mike Mularkey, the team's tight ends coach and interim head coach for the second half of the 2015 season, has now been thrown into the mix. Mularkey, back in 2020, in audio that just surfaced, was on the Steelers Realm podcast. And Mularkey was asked, what is something that happened during your career? Remember, Mike Mularkey had, I think, 2 head coaching stints, but I believe both of them were one and done, right? They were asking him this question about coaching, right? Like, you had some one and dones. What would you say is a regret or something that you did that you wish you wouldn't have? And this is how Mike Mularkey answered the question.
It's a very cutthroat business, and a lot of guys will tell you that. But I allowed myself at one point when I was in Tennessee to get caught up in something I regret. I still regret it. But the ownership there, Amy Adams Strunk and her family, came in and told me I was going to be the head coach in 2016 before they went through the Rooney Rule. And so I sat there knowing I was the head coach in 16 as they went through this fake hiring process, knowing a lot of the coaches that they were interviewing, knowing how much they prepared to go through those interviews, knowing that everything they could do, and they had no chance of getting that job. And actually the GM, John Robinson, he was in on the interview with me. He had no idea why he's interviewing me, that I have the job already. And I feel, I regret that's because I pride myself in my kids first, that they do the right thing. And I always said that to the players, and here I am, the head guy, not doing it. And I've regretted that since then. It was a wrong thing to do. I'm sorry I did that. But it was not the way to go about it. Should have interviewed like everybody else and got hired because of the interview, not early on. So that's probably my biggest regret.
Wow, that's a touching story, and appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah.
So, Coach,
It's not hard to do the right thing. It's really not.
So there you go. That is Mike Malarkey.
apparently it is hard to do the right thing, because if this bothered him so much, why did he take the job? Why didn't he say, you need to interview me? Like,
Have you never? Well,
well,
Lonzo's perfect.
I am not perfect, but
But-
if you do this after the fact, you're just trying to get publicity
You've never
right now.
regret. This was in 2020, dude. This
Right,
wasn't like
right.
recent. This
Well-
is in 2020. This discussion was not. I mean, let me phrase that. This discussion was not happening the way that it's happening now in 2020. This was a guy coming clean. So I will tell you this: if you can honestly say that there's never been a point that you took advantage of a situation because it benefited you in a way that you did not regret later in your life and feel the need to come clean for it, good on you. But I would say most of us have. In some way, shape, or form, most of us have.
Do you come clean on the air so it can be out there for everybody else? It just seems like, hey,
How else do you come clean?
I'm
I'm just going to tell one person in my house silently, and then that's not.
I
coming clean.
can't
That's not
get
apologizing.
hired as an NFL coach anymore. Let me just go ahead and say this stuff.
See, I got to say, I think you're looking for the worst in this.
No, I'm coming from a different angle. That's what I'm doing. And again, the Rooney Rule is a sham. It absolutely is. It's also not necessary. But still,
Oh, no, I disagree.
as we've discussed, it's not necessary. You hire the best person for the job.
Right. We've talked about this a bunch.
Yeah.
I don't want, and not as a shot. I don't want to particularly
I got
go
you.
down this
I
road
got you.
because we're not getting anywhere on it, right? Yes, I agree. In an ideal world, the Rooney Rule's not necessary, but we do not live in an ideal world, therefore it makes it. But
How does our world become ideal? We make it ideal.
I agree. And this is a step, if you believe that it works, towards that process. But we'll put that aside. To me, this is Mike Malarkey going, you know what? In hindsight, well, first off, he's admitting he knew it was screwed when it was happening, but he went, it's going to make me a head coach, right? It's going to make me a head coach, which is a hard job to
Yeah,
get.
I have principles and everything, and I feel really bad about it. But yeah, I'll take all that money.
Right. And again, if you have gone through your life and never been, and you probably not with the type of paycheck that comes alongside an NFL coaching job, but if you have never had a situation play out that you go, yeah, I can take advantage of this and leverage me some money out of this deal, good on you. Congratulations. But I think most of us have been in a similar spot to that before, right? Most of us have. I have done it very, very early in my career. Very early in my career. Regretted it ever since. Really did. Specifically sought out and apologized to somebody. I did not necessarily intentionally take advantage of. So basically what happened was I had a guy that worked at a radio station when I was starting in my career, right? Who we went to the Senior Bowl together. We went and covered the Senior Bowl. He got an interview with an NFL head coach, right? Now, we went to cover it together, but when this happened, we were in two different spots. And he got an interview with an NFL head coach while I was interviewing players. Well, this coach said something that was not like huge groundbreaking, but it was a relatively big story. And we came back, and a couple of days later, he was off the show, and I played that soundbite and said, collected this at Senior Bowl. And then a lot of people started treating it as if I got the scoop, right? Rob Brown is reporting that, and I didn't correct it and say, I didn't get this scoop. My producer got this scoop. I didn't correct that. I was 24. I was all of 9 months into the business. I was trying to make a name for myself. And while I absolutely could have said, I did not collect this soundbite, so-and-so asked the question, I just let it go. And when that story started to hit, it was attached to Rob Brown of the Rob Brown Show on the whatever sports network down in Destin. And I took advantage of that to get some pub and felt atrocious for it later in life. Apologized to that person directly off the air, then apologized on the air for doing it. I was not trying to get attention. I was not trying to get a shine off of that. I was not trying to go, look at me, I'm a good guy for it. I felt like an a-hole for doing it. I didn't realize what I was doing in its entirety at the time, but I knew I'm doing something that's not good here, and I apologize, and I, to this day, feel guilty about it. Granted, it didn't change the trajectory of my career. It didn't earn me $1 billion. It wouldn't have done anything for this guy either, probably, except getting me a few more mentions, and this, frankly, was pre-Twitter and really even pre-Facebook being as big as it is, so it's not like we were getting a ton of runoff of it. But I felt awful about it, and I think that's what I think that is what Mike Mularkey is doing here. I think he's looking at a situation and going, now that the impact of the way it has been done, right? Because he has just said, they told me I got the job before they even did interviews. So I did an interview that was a fraud. They had other head coaching guys, including Rooney Rule participators. That's not a real world, but you get the point. Including people who were included because of the Rooney Rule, set to do interviews. They had already made that decision. They already knew I was the guy. They were just doing all this for show. It's a dog and pony show. Well, if you're running the Rooney Rule that way, you're right. It's got no point. They had already made their decision. Was Mike Mularkey the best guy for the job? Maybe. But he also coached a year and then got let go because he wasn't good at it, right? Now, that in and of itself would probably be a meh story. Right? Probably a story that you're like, it seems like kind of a big deal. But when you piggyback that onto Brian Flores' lawsuit, and when you piggyback that onto the story that Bill Belichick accidentally revealed to Brian Flores that the job in New York that he was scheduled to interview for the next day had already been given to Brian Daboll, right? So now we know, scratch that. Now we have very good reason to believe that this is a common practice in the National Football League, that Rooney Rule interviews are done for dog and pony shows. They're done for illustrative purposes only, right?
But is that a surprise? It's not really a surprise. This has been speculated on forever. And here's the thing. I've been in radio for 25 years now. And the biggest thing that I hear from listeners is, okay, you guys are pointing out the problem. What's the solution? In this case, what's the solution?
That's a fabulous question, right? But as I've illustrated in the point with one specific example, not having a solution to a problem is not a good reason to not call out the problem. I can call out the problem without offering a solution, right? If I go to a steakhouse and I order my steak medium rare and they bring it out well done, and I go, this steak sucks. The steak is bad. The waiter doesn't go, well, how would you cook it? No, that's not my job. I don't need to know how to cook a perfect steak. I do, but I don't need to know how to cook a perfect steak in order to tell you that this one sucks, right? I don't need to know how to fix my car to know that when I turn the key and it doesn't come on, something's wrong. I don't have to be able to tell you what's wrong with the car. I just got to know something's wrong with the car. How do you fix it? I don't know how to fix a car. I'm an idiot.
But does the solution have to be that complicated? If someone's sitting here or laying there and they're bleeding to death, instead of going, hey, he's bleeding, and someone else says, look, he's bleeding, and someone else says, look, he's bleeding, someone could, put a tourniquet or a bandage or something on that.
Cool. I like that example. Here's why. If somebody falls down and they hit their head on the ground, right, and they're spazzing on the ground, we were always told this in sports. If somebody has suffered a head injury, do you know what you're supposed to do before medical folks advise arrive? Nothing. Because you might go, oh, we need to stabilize him, hold his head. But in a seizure patient, if you stabilize them and you prevent them from going through that, you'll do more damage, right? Sometimes when you don't know what the solution is, The proper action for people like us is nothing. It's nothing. The problem is to call attention to the problem. You are better served to go, this guy's dying. Can somebody help, please? Than you are to go, I better get down there and try to help him because you don't know how to help. That just is what it is, right? So to call attention to the problem, as Flores has done, as Bill Belichick did unintentionally, as Mike Mularkey did back in 2020 when he did this interview on this podcast, you can call attention to the problem without offering a solution. And these three have done it. Mularkey did it because he had a sense of guilt, or at least he said on the air he had a sense of guilt about it, and he wanted to come clean. Belichick did it because he doesn't know how to read last names in his contact list, signed BB. And Flores did it because he's going, yo, there's a problem here, and I have now borne direct witness to that problem. You've got this rule, which I've said from the beginning. The intent of the Rooney Rule is good. The execution of it is crap. But the intent of the rule is good. It's got no teeth. It's got no... Now, here is where I would say the NFL does have one thing that they can do, right? I would throw an investigation at the New York Giants. I would throw an investigation at the Tennessee Titans. And if I can prove that those two organizations made their decision on a head coach before they did their Rooney Rule interviews, I'd hit them. I'd hit them hard. I'd take draft picks away. I would damage the team.
All right, so
because now you have an enforceable violation of an NFL rule that's on the books. And you don't have to like the rules, but you do have to follow them. I hear that all the time.
Oh, I agree. As far as that goes. Yeah, you punish them for that. But then what happens next? So the next time that it's time to interview, you bring in a few more minority candidates. They're not the best guy for the job, but now you feel pressured to hire one of them, even though you know that you got a guy over here who's not a minority but can actually win games, and this guy can't. But you end up having to hire him because you want to make sure that you don't get punished anymore. That's the problem here. And you're right. If there was a solution, you would think someone would come up with it. But if you put this kind of pressure on people, you're going to make the problem worse without saying, here's what the solution is. I know I'm not the smartest guy in this room or probably any room, but there's someone out there who is. Why aren't they coming up with this?
So, number one, because it's a crazy complicated problem, right? And the root of the problem, if you believe there is one, which I do and a lot of other people do, if you believe there is one, the root of the problem, the cause of the problem, is an abstract. Where all my metaphors downstairs fall apart, right? If Lonzo gets in his car and he's driving down the interstate and he hears clunk, 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 he knows something's wrong. You may not know what it is, but you know there's a problem and you're going to call it out. Problem is, the root of that problem is a material issue. It's a tangible issue. Your belt came off, your muffler's dragging, whatever. If I go to the steakhouse and they bring me a crispy, well-done steak, that sucks. I can say the root of the problem here. I don't know how to cook a steak. I do. But I don't know, for my metaphor, I don't know how to cook a steak. But I know the problem is that whoever cooked this steak is bad at it. They overcooked the steak. They cooked it on too high a temperature and they cooked it for too long. That's a problem that is tangible and fixable. The root of this problem, if you believe there is one, is not tangible. I can't point at it and go, it's this button, it's this lever, it's this knob. The root of the problem is something that is inside of people. It is an emotional inside of people cause of a problem. And you can't just go, it's because that guy's racist, right? You can't just go around going, that guy's racist.
Well, you could do that.
You could, but nobody listened to you.
Right.
Unless you have evidence that the Rooney Rule has been directly violated, which now we have, granted, minute evidence. We have a Mike Mularkey admission and a bad thread of text from Bill Belichick that at least two teams have directly violated the Rooney Rule, right? And you could say, well, they were going to hire that guy anyway. Maybe they were. But do the interview. The point of the interview is, how do you know? Mike Mularkey has coached two teams. He's done them both for 1 year because he's not been good at the job. How do you know if you don't interview a young Brian Flores, you don't get done with that interview and go, I'll be gosh darn, this guy might have it. and make that move. And now Mike Mularkey never coached the Tennessee Titans. A young Brian Flores did, who then became Mike Tomlin.
Well, there is nothing worse than being interviewed because of a quota when you know for sure that you're not going to get hired for a job. Been interviewed before. No, I'm not getting the job. Know who's getting the job the entire time, but because of standards and practices or whatever, the company says you have to interview this many people, and you're in there and you know you're not getting the job, and you're given a killer interview, but you know that the company's just doing it so they can say they did
Here's
it.
the thing. That's literally what's happening right now. That's literally what we are talking about here.
Yeah,
Bill Belichick
I think
just told Brian Flores, your interview's tomorrow, but they already got their guy.
Right. What I'm saying, if I'm that guy, I'm offended. Don't bring me in. Don't bring me in to fit a quota.
That's what Brian Flores is saying.
You're right. But what I'm saying is, if there is no rule like this and you're hiring the best guy, you go in, then you know you're not going in because of your race. You're going in because you got a shot at the job.
Was Mike Mularkey the right guy? We can unequivocally say no. We know he was not.
To take
he
it
got fired after a season.
To take it to a team level, who was the right guy there?
I don't know, but it wasn't Mike Mularkey.
Yeah, I don't think they found the right guy even still.
I don't know. That guy that going down there right now is pretty good. Brought the Tennessee Titans to the playoffs, 2 straight years?
That guy, what's his name?
Mike Vrabel.
Okay.
Mr. I would sacrifice my for a Super Bowl win. Yes, he said that. That's a real thing.
Yeah,
Look it up.
it's an Ohio.
amazing.
It's an Ohio thing.
You guys are crazy.
Yeah, so is Florida.
You guys are bat boat crazy, is what you are. All right, I got a bunch of text about this. I'm going to read them when I come back here in just a minute. Plus, plenty more to talk about. 11:20, Tony Schiavone from All Elite Wrestling will be played on the show. Back after this. This is the Fan Upstate. Good segment. Good segment.
Yeah, it was all right.
Good segment.
It was all right.
Okay, rephrase that. I had a good segment.
All right, you did. It's too warm in here.
And Lester says, really good back and forth. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, Lester. Good man. Appreciate
It's
it.
a hard topic because you got to be careful.
It is a hard topic.
I was coming to do that.
Oh, I know you were.
This is so weird. Is Diesel just getting cold or something? Yeah, it's him.
The beard. He's trying to keep his face. Well, no, that was the opposite.
It's cold sculpting.
bad word to me.
I'm glad we were muted the whole time you said what you just said. Oh.
I mean, grr.
That was very convincing. I was slightly frightened. I'm more concerned I'm going to get an email saying stop by the office later. If I were him, I would do that to me. It just made me sit there and not say anything.
Yeah.
Hope that isn't something we're going to be flagged for.
Do what?
I said, I hope that isn't something we're going to be flagged for. Yo, Prisma in the next break.
Say again?
Prisma!
In the next break. Got it. Sorry, I'm watching that with Joe showing up. People are just posting all his greatest promos, and it's the one where he comes out with DB and Ali and Randy in the ring and just murders everybody on the night.
So what are we going to do? I noticed when you guys played, since I wasn't here, the Paul White interview, it was just you guys just kind of sitting comfortable. While
I'm going to, you know what I'm going to do?
The thing is, I have to be up in order for the stream to be
So
heard.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to share screen that image I had on the TV and just share screen it so that will be on the screen. And then we'll just leave the mics open, and we'll just have to sit here quietly. Or do whatever, because it's going to...
Well, I was just thinking, can I replace my video feed with that picture?
No, I'm just going to share full screen.
Because
share.
there's a thing where you can kill your video and the audio still stays.
Yeah. No, that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
I'm just share screening that photo that I made.
Yeah, but our video would still be up. Is
No.
What you're saying. Oh, okay.
You can
all right.
full screen
All right.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. But I need to go pull it.
I mean, we got an hour, so.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Texter said, how many Hispanic coaches are there? Asian. Why is the lack thereof not made into a bigger deal for races other than African American? The Rooney Rule is for minority candidates. It is not for African American candidates. It is for minority candidates, of which there are, I believe, 5 total, including Ron Rivera. But the Rooney Rule is for minority candidates, not black candidates, minority candidates. Fan says, Texter says, fan, we don't have the money. We don't make the rules. I don't judge people trying to provide for their families. I get that, right? You'll notice I don't have any ill will towards Mike Mularkey. I get it. I've done it. If somebody comes to you and goes, we got this great job, and it's already yours, we just got to do some other sham interviews to make it look good. I would argue most of us are going to, what are you going to say? No. Go ahead and interview me legitimately, right? Likelihood is they're still going to pick you. I'm not mad at Mike Mularkey. It's not Mike Mularkey I have a problem with here. It's not Brian Flores I have a problem with. It's not Bill Belichick I have a problem with. Texture says, fan, the real beef should be with the NFL and the Rooney Rule, not the individual teams. My beef, it's not with the NFL and the Rooney Rule. Again, as I've said, in my opinion, the Rooney Rule's good. And in intent, not in execution. But as I've said many times, the reason it's not good is that it has no teeth, right? There's no way to enforce it, except for now there are 2 teams that there is at least enough evidence to start an investigation into, which could lead to enforcement for the first time of the Rooney Rule. And this is where the NFL gets to put its cards on the table. Are you serious about this or are you not? If you are serious about it, Start an investigation into the Titans. Start an investigation into the Giants because you've got evidence that they violated the intent of the Rooney Rule. Start the investigation. Is it going to change anything? Yes, it is. I'll tell you what it changes, Lonzo. It changes when GMs who already know who their coaches are. They ain't going to tell nobody now, right? They're not going to be telling Hoodie, we're giving the job to Dabble. They're not going to be telling Mike Mularkey, it's your job. We know this is our guy. We're just going to throw him into the interview pool like everybody else and hope he doesn't tank, in which case we still hire him. That's the only thing that's going to change, but at least it will put it on the table that the NFL is serious about this, and maybe teams will think twice about it in the future.
Earlier in the week, we talked about optics. That's all the Rooney Rule is. It's optics. It's about trying to appease certain groups so they don't get mad. It's not really a solution. It's not. And again, it shouldn't be necessary. And I know, ideal world, I get all that, but it should not be necessary.
I agree.
You should not judge someone by the color of the skin, but by their character. And if they are more skilled than somebody else, despite whether they're red, yellow, black, purple, whatever, I just want my coach to win.
So, two things. Number one, I would encourage you, the royal you, not Lonzo included, but the royal you. Because I hear that Martin Luther King Jr. quote all the time, right? We should judge by the content of character, not color of skin. And yes, we should. I want you to go watch the interview they did with Dr. Martin Luther King about a year and a half after he gave that speech. I want you to listen to the rest of that speech. Because what he effectively says is, you should judge people by the content of the character, not the color of their skin. And we as a society are failing miserably at that. And not doing a good job of it.
Yeah, but we're not talking about whether we are or not. It's whether we should and whether we will.
Right, but here's the
and
question.
Hopefully we will someday.
But the question, right? Hopefully we will. But you have got to take actions to get it there, right? We have got to take action to get it there. Racism's got it. Why do they do all the racism? Because it's got to be called out. Otherwise, people who are openly racist are comfortable to do it when there are no consequences.
But the other problem with calling out this and making this racism, whether it is or not, is that there are fringe people who were not racist, but you have the danger of making them that because you're making such of a big deal that you feel guilt over who you are, and you should never do that. You should never feel guilt about who you are and where you came from. You have, you just don't.
That is making the argument. That is making the argument that and I want to trust me. I know I'm treading on thin ice to phrase this properly. I know the danger I'm in, and I don't care. Number one, calling out all racism is good, and if calling out racism makes you uncomfortable, I would suggest you self-evaluate why.
All right, so
if you are not racist, it should not bother you.
Agreed.
At all.
Agreed. But there are people who don't care either way, but then you force them to take a side. If you force someone to take a side, then you are pushing them towards one way or another.
If asking you to stand on the side of anti-racism makes you uncomfortable, that's not a side you should have to pick. That's just a side you should want to be on. You should want to be anti-racism.
Yeah, you absolutely should.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's all this is.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Texter says, I tuned into the show for the first time this morning, and race-based crap is all I get. I don't give a crap if 0 black coaches or 32 black coaches get hired. All right. I mean, that was one segment of the show, but I get it. But again, something being an important conversation not to you doesn't make it not an important conversation to have.
But it's another case where whether you're going to say it's not political, but it absolutely is political, that you go to a sports show on a sports station and you don't want to hear the stuff that you're hearing everywhere else. And I completely get that. I completely get that.
I get it.
And I will interact with these things, but I hate these topics.
I know.
And we shouldn't have to have these topics. And but unfortunately, no, don't take that the wrong way.
No, I
unfortunately, it's in the news and we need to talk about it. But doesn't mean we like that we have. If I'm tuning in, so let me ask you a question. So if I'm tuning into the show and I hear this talk and I turn away, does it mean that I don't care about the topic, or does it mean that I want to go somewhere to escape all this stuff.
Here's my answer to that. Has been for years, will be until we can be done with it, hopefully in my lifetime. Yes. And Lonzo, you've heard me pitch this show for years as an escape from reality, right? People are sitting at their desk right now, working the 8 to 5, ready to go the hell home. And this show is meant to be, and 90% of the time is, a ridiculous-ass escape from reality. That's what it is. However, you have to understand, for some people, like Brian Flores, this is their reality. There is no escape from it. This is what Brian Flores is dealing with, if you believe his lawsuit has merit, which I do, right? He's brought receipts to the table. This is his reality. There's no escape from it. So to ask you to listen to, and by the way, I say the phone number 99 times a show. I give the text line constantly. To ask you to listen or engage in a conversation for 15 minutes out of 3 hours, when there are people like Brian Flores that this is the biggest thing in their life that they are dealing with, right? If 15 minutes out of your 3 hours is too much to ask, sorry, give me 15 and come back, I guess. I
guess I will be forever frustrated about things that have no solutions, because I cannot believe, and this just is how I'm built, that there's not a way to fix everything.
Again,
and when you don't fix something, it feels like you don't want it fixed.
I'll say this, and then we're going to move on from this topic for at least a little while. I get that. I understand that. Not having the solution doesn't mean you don't call out the problem. That's where we'll leave that one right now. Texas says, calling things racist that aren't actually racist pushes people further away from your goal. 90% of people don't give a boat about race. I mean, that would be awesome. I have literally heard, since this lawsuit dropped, twice out in public, Brian Flores called the N-word. Twice. It might be 90%.
I guess I don't go anywhere, but I've never heard anything like that.
I think it's pretty obvious you and I don't hang out in the same places.
Yeah, we don't. We don't. But you know what that does, though? That gives us a bigger sample size.
Sure. And I hope. I don't know that it's 90%. You don't have any way to empirically prove that it is 90%.
And you don't have a way to prove that it's any other number either.
Sure. Absolutely. And I wouldn't say that it is. I haven't said there's a number. You have not heard me put a quantitative number on any of this. I can't. All I can tell you is what we, A, know happened, B, has evidence of having happened, or C, speculated to happen. That's all I got. All right. Texas says, yeah, it's Brian Flores' reality, maybe like 1% of his life. Calling bull boat on that. Let's not pretend every single race on this planet doesn't, and the text cut off, but I get where you're going. I mean, Lonzo, what % of your life is work? Honestly, and you work harder than anybody I know, but what % of your life is work?
Man, that's a really hard question, because it depends on what you consider work. In the first hour, we talked about how Rob's work now is watching baseball. So it's
pretty good work.
But
it's work.
If you consider that, every time I play a game, it's work. Every time I go see a movie, it's work.
For the sake of responding to this text, let's consider work on the air and sitting at your computer doing production and scheduling and affidavits and all that.
Okay, that would
be
just
the not fun stuff.
That would be 6 days a week.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So let's say conservative.
The majority of my day is work.
So let's say a conservative 33% of your life is work.
No. I think it would be the opposite.
Okay.
Because
66%.
Because it also comes down to when you go home, what do you do? Maybe I go home and go to bed.
Right.
So if I go home and go to bed after 2 hours, which I may or may not because I'm older, then the majority of my day is work.
All right. So let's say 66%. Let's say 2/3 of the line. You think this is Brian Flores' job? This is his job. This is his career. This is his livelihood. You think that's 1% of his life? If that dude is as successful as he has and he's contributed 1% of his life to it, imagine what happens if he contributes 10, right? That argument doesn't hold water. All right. I got to take a break from this. We'll come back here in just a minute. We'll get away from that topic. Those of you, we've gotten a lot of complimentary text about the conversation, and a lot of you guys are tired of it, which I understand. When we come back, Kevin earlier said that he was tired of, as a Lakers fan, load management from LeBron. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, he is too. And he had something to say about it, saying that the NBA is working on fixing it. Is there a solution to this problem? I don't think there is. I'll explain why when we come back. I'm Rob, he's Lonzo. This is the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
Prisma.
Tell you about my friends at Prisma Health right here in the Upstate, ladies and gentlemen. Prisma Health is where I go when I have healthcare needs. And as I get older, there's more of them. Shut up. I wasn't talking about that. Prisma Health is where I go, and it's for a reason. The first time I went to Prisma Health, right after I moved here, I wanted to check out, make sure I was healthy as I started my new job, my new career. Not a new career, my old career in a new job, in a new place, etc. I wanted to come into this thing as healthy as my overweight 37-year-old behind could. So I got checked out. And after I did, when I was leaving, the young lady at the front desk said, hey, by the way, I need you to go in and create a MyChart account.
There he is. Right there. Oh, Lord.
Trey said, what if teams had more premium paying assistant jobs where tenure helped increase pay and sample size of performance? That would go a long way. I have also said
I think assistant coaches make a lot of money.
They do.
Yeah.
I've also said with the new Rooney rule, right, which is you have to do it for offensive coordinator and you have to have one minority on your offensive coaching staff, that one possible solution, some people won't love it, but one possible solution is increasing.
Sorry. Sorry.
I thought you were taking the bat out too. Was increased incentives for making minority hires, right? So, like, if you have X amount on your staff, you get another draft pick, or your team gets a bonus to the salary cap, or something like that. There he goes. Found the stroke.
Way to hesitate, so I didn't interrupt your talking. It's awesome.
As Tony Schiavone said, I'm a broadcast professional.
I don't know if you knew this. It's almost Friday for us. It's almost a weekend for us.
I know.
Well, I got a bunch of stuff to do, but still.
Well, so do I.
I'm just going to mute for a second. Muting us now.
Well, I've offered to help with the.
Yeah, we'll just get into, remember what our go-to is, wrestling.
I want that Arn Anderson shirt, by the way.
If that's really an Arn Anderson shirt. I can't, I mean, I know it says Enforcer, but what about it?
That's Arn as a skull.
Is it?
Yeah.
I guess I just didn't look close enough.
That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, that's absolutely old Arn. He's got the balding haircut and the big forehead with a circular. Yeah,
okay, I see it now.
Yeah.
I see it now. But it's really, that's like,
I'm buying.
it's like the Punisher skull.
Yeah, but it's Arn's head as the Punisher skull. I love it. If they are selling those, I'm buying two, and I'm getting him to autograph the other one to go up in the man cave.
I thought of a way to get beyond this thing, is I should have dressed up as Casey Jones. If I had a Casey Jones mask.
But you can't do the show with that mask on. Well, I guess you could.
I've done it before. It's yeah.
Or Scorpion or Sub-Zero.
I don't have to build for those. I mean, I can always go Jason.
Or though you can just wear your COVID mask.
It'll stick to this. I ain't doing that. It hurt. By the way, Trey confirms that Arn Anderson shirt that we were talking about in the stream, which you can watch us during breaks on the Fan Facebook page and on the Rob Brown Show.
And you should.
You should. We are looking at the Arn Anderson, who we got to interview here earlier in the week, and who Tony Schiavone just totally throws under the bus. And you can hear that interview an hour from now. Well, not an hour from now, actually a half hour from now. That Arn Anderson shirt, he says, from his site.
Love it.
So it's official.
Love it.
So we could get that shirt and get it signed at South Carolina Comic-Con tomorrow because he's going to be there.
That's right. So will we. SC Comic-Con tomorrow, Greenville Convention Center. We will be there. Come on. If you see me and Zoe walking around, listen, I love when people come say hi to me, and the only person who loves it when people call him out publicly more than me is Lonzo, right? If you ever see Lonzo in public anywhere, especially if he's sitting down eating, make sure you go, "Are you Lonzo from the award-winning Rob Brown Show?" and do it loudly so that everybody knows him. He loves that.
I just want to say, Rob, I'm on multiple shows, so they could recognize me from, from
true.
just about anywhere. But yeah, I appreciate, my wife's going to kill me if I say this. Just pull up a chair.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Just pull up a chair.
If he's sitting at dinner, sitting down, having himself a sandwich, spin that chair around like AC Slater and make yourself at home. He loves it.
Put your hands, chin in your hands, and
Yeah.
just watch. Every delightful chew.
Sung J M is your Masters leader right now. Shot a first round 67, 5 under. He is out on the course, got an early start this morning through 4 so far. He is shooting even, but nobody else has made up the ground to catch up with him early. Cameron Smith, who, by the way, I don't know if you saw the tweet about Cameron Smith, Lonzo, but Cameron Smith was rocking a full 10-point mullet at round 1 of the
Well,
Masters yesterday.
you know, I saw you post something, and I didn't realize that was a golfer.
That's Cameron Smith.
That's a golfer?
That is a 10-point mullet on a golfer playing the Masters right now.
Where's he from?
Australia?
Oh, I was hoping for a certain kind of
West
accent.
Virginia?
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
He's a mountaineer, baby. No, he's from Australia, is Cameron Smith. Rocking the full 10-point mullet. I put that on my Twitter page, at The Rob Brown Show, at The Rob Brown Show. Make sure you follow me there if you're on Twitter. Cameron Smith right now shot a 4 under 68 yesterday. He tees off in about, we'll call it 3 hours from now. DJ, how about Dustin Johnson? T3 with a 3 under 69 yesterday. He is on the course right now, even through 1. Also T3, Danny Willett of England, Joaquin Niemann, Scotty Scheffler, world number 1, shot an opening round 3 under. T7, Corey Connors, Harold Varner III, Patrick Cantlay, and Jason Kokrak all shot a 70, shot 70s and 71s yesterday. Connors is even on the day through 6. Harold Varner III, 1 under through 3. Cantlay is even through 1. Kokrak will take off at 12:57. Charles Schwartzel has come up with a birdie in his opening half of today's round. He is now 1 under on the tournament, T11, with Tom Hogue, Webb Simpson, Sergio Garcia, Tyrell Hatton, and Will Zalatoris. Zalatoris shot an opening round 1 under. He is even on the day today through 2. Zalatoris is at 1 under. Matt Fitzpatrick is at 1 under. So is Harry Higgs, Kevin Na, Daniel Berger, Tony Finau, and after a round 1 71, Eldrick Tiger freaking Woods is at 1 under and T11 right now. And what a day Eldrick had yesterday. Had a couple of beautiful birdies, couple of scrambles to save par, including 1 on 16, that if you missed the coverage of it, the crowd lost its freaking marbles when Tiger dropped about a 24-footer to save par, and we got an old-school Tiger fist pump after that putt drop. The patrons went wild for that. I've got a buddy, Brandon, who those of you that pop up in the stream, you've seen Brandon jump on a lot of times. Brandon's a P1 of the show from down in the Florida Panhandle who listens every day. Brandon's at the Masters. And he called me yesterday evening. I sent him a text. I was like, dude, how was it, right? Masters is bucket list. I've never made it. I said, how was it? He texted me, because you can't have phones in Augusta, right? You can't bring your cell phone onto the golf course. They have pay phones you have to use if you want to call out from Augusta. Anyway, he calls me last night, and he goes, dude, it was insane. He said, Tiger on 16, dropping that par save from 20-plus out. You'd have thought you were standing midfield of the Super Bowl. The crowd lost its mind. Awesome. Good on Tiger. At this point, like I said, I opened by saying I don't think Tiger is in contention on Sunday. But a 1 under 71, there were a lot of really good golfers who did worse. Bubba Watson shot an opening round 73. Tiger beat him.
And the cut is 2 over, right? So he's got, at least it was this morning, so he's got a good shot.
So it'll move based on what the scores today are, right? But a 1 under is going to get you into the 3rd round. Quick break. We're back after this for hour number 3 of the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
Voice Flash. Voice Flash.
Yeah, Trey, I have actually bought stuff from Pro Wrestling Tees in the past. What I would tell you if you order from them, and they're a good company to order from, but if you order from them, pay the extra $6 or $7 it takes to get the premium version of the shirt, because they've got a lot of really good cheap shirts, but they're not going to last you a long time, because the graphics are not into the shirt. They're like ironed on, and so I've had a couple that the graphics started to fall off after a while, like a short while. So if you ever order from Pro Wrestling Tees, spend the extra money to get the premium shirt, because that's the ones they put the quality into, and you'll get more time out of them. But it's a good company. I've used them before.
He said heavy machinery. That makes me sad.
Oh, yeah.
Or Tucky.
Tucky. You think if you make it to WWE, well, if you make it to a wrestling company and you make it as part of a tag team, and then one day they come to you and they go, we're going to start pushing you as a singles guy, and your partner isn't going to be a part of that. How close do you have to be before you go, no, he comes with me or I go too? Or does it depend on the number of zeros on the paycheck?
I don't know. I mean, it would especially be hard if it's your brother.
Yeah.
Which we've seen happen a couple of times. Thank you, Benjamin. That's awesome, dude. I don't entirely believe you, but that's awesome though. I was standing there looking for my family, and he came up and talked to me. I remember that. Yeah,
it's awesome. Well, if you're there this weekend, Ben, please come find me. I'll be the good-looking guy that looks like me. Steve says, if either of you ordered from 80s Tees, I love the designs they have, but the shirts feel like rolling in Priors. Steven, I will tell you that about half of the shirts I wear on stage for my band concerts are from 80s Tees, including my one, Lonzo, that says, because I was inverted, upside down. That one was from 80s Tees. I'll wear that one next week. I really haven't worn T-shirts since we moved to the new slide. It's either been local team jerseys or flannel.
Well, we're for me, I'm out of season with the teams that I follow. So, I go back to what I wear normally.
Yeah. See, I'm never out of season. There's not a season that I don't have a team
Well,
active.
technically this is season for me. So, I mean,
But yes, I've used 80s Tees. Steven, wash them like 3 or 4 times before you wear them. Like, just run them through a handful of times, and they'll soften up for you.
or be a manly man. A manly man loves a scratchy T-shirt. Daggum.
I watch wrestling in my uncomfortable clothes.
Yeah.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show starts right now. This is the Fan Upstate. What's up, Upstate South Carolina? What's up, America? How you doing, world? Great to be with you. Rob, Lonzo, you. I got a lot of stories I want to run through real quick before we get to the Tony Schiavone interview in the next segment. Let me start with this, Zoe, if you don't mind. That other piece of audio I have in there. There is a court case going on down in Florida. You remember the Parkland shooting that took place not too long ago? Now, I'm not bringing that up to get into that.
I was saying, that's not why I'm shaking my head, because I heard you get the audio, remember?
Yeah.
That's why I'm shaking my head.
So, there was a school shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, and the trial for that shooting is going to be taking place very soon, and they're going through jury selection down in Parkland, Florida right now, because the guy who did it pled guilty to 17 counts of premeditated first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder, but there are other charges that have to go to trial. And so yesterday, they were going through jury selection. Now, I don't know about you, Zoe, I have never been called for jury duty.
I have been close a couple times, and the last one was federal, and I thought, man, they're getting this.
Yeah.
But I made almost to the final cut on the federal. So here's a little thing that I did, and I think it worked, is I wore my WORD gear.
Dismissed.
And they asked what I did for a living. And when I mentioned that I'm on shows that talk about cases such as these on the air, and I got let go.
You got dismissed.
So, I mean, so it's not a move that the listeners can make, but definitely a move that I made twice, and I believe worked both times.
I've never been summoned for jury duty. Since I've moved here, the lady friend's been called like 3 times. She just got another one last week.
And I just want to point out, it is our civic duty to, if we're called upon to do that. But the reason why I did what I did is because there are times where
didn't want to miss MST.
where I'm so integral to what happens that at the stations that we don't have anybody else, and it's one of those. They were talking about sequestering for like a month for the federal thing. And it's like, no, I can't do that.
I got to tell you, I've never done. I would love to do it. I actually want jury duty. I think maybe just once, but I want to do it one day for like a cool case,
Next time I'm going to stand up and go, bruh.
I got So anyway, once you get summoned to jury duty, you go into the juror pool, right? And then you go in front of the defense attorneys and prosecutors, and basically you do an interview, and then the prosecutors and defense attorneys agree on the jury out of the jury pool. And so you get like a preliminary interview, which may include giving reasons why you should not be suggested or picked for this particular jury. Well, there was a lady who is in the jury pool for the Parkland school shooting trial. And she submitted that she was unavailable should this trial go into the formalities in July. She submitted a handful of dates in July that she would be unavailable for jury duty. So the judge called her up to explain why she would be unavailable, and she gave, without a doubt, the best reason I have ever heard to not be available for the jury.
There's dates in July that you're not available. What are those dates?
July 7th, July 4th, which is closed, and July 18th. But then again, I need to figure out something. I have my sugar daddy that I see every day.
I'm sorry?
My sugar daddy.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, but
Well, I'm married and I have my sugar daddy. And I
Okay.
see him every day.
all right, ma'am, we'll come back.
I can't come to jury duty, Your Honor, because I have a sugar daddy and I have to see him every day. The judge responded by saying, I'm sorry, what now? My sugar daddy. I don't know what that is. Well, I'm married, but I have a sugar daddy and I have to see him every day. Lonzo, the next time you get called for jury duty, will you please tell the judge, I can't, Your Honor. I have a sugar daddy I have to see every day.
Means something totally different coming from me. But yeah, I can't promise that I will do that, but I can't promise that I won't either. Because we know there are times that I say things I absolutely should not say. And if that pops in my head, yeah, I might do that.
Said she can't do jury duty because she has to see her sugar daddy. That's the priority. Your Honor, I'm married, but my sugar daddy needs his lovin' too, if you know what I'm saying. And she said, I don't know what that is.
Well,
I need you to know, when I heard that, so I got done yesterday and I'm scrolling Twitter, show prep for tomorrow's show starts right after this one's over. So I'm scrolling Twitter and I come across the video and it says, I've never heard this excuse before. And I said, oh, this is going to be good, right? Because I've heard some great ones. And so I push play and I don't know what I was expecting. I really don't. Well, I can't do it, Your Honor. Why? I don't want to. I don't know what I was expecting. But what I got was a young lady saying, I can't do jury duty because my sugar daddy needs me. He needs his time in the sheets, if you know what I'm saying. The best part was the judge going, I don't know what that means. All I wanted was for that lady to go, well, I have a husband, but I also have this other guy I do adult time with, and he gives me money in return, Your Honor. And if I miss that, I'm out of money.
Yeah, because that's really what it comes down to. I wanted to look up the definition of sugar daddy, and yes, you can look up the definition of sugar daddy. And it says a rich older man who lavishes gifts on a young woman in return for her company or sexual favor.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It doesn't necessarily...
What's the difference between that and prostitution? You're getting paid for services, right?
No, you're not getting paid. They are giving you money.
Yeah, but it's still...
It's like this. It's like this.
It's barter. I mean, it's without a doubt, it's at least barter.
It's like the old joke that's not a joke. What's the difference between prostitution and porn? A camera, right? Like if you give somebody money for adult time, it's prostitution. But if you give somebody money to let them film them having adult time, now it's legal in most states, right? It's a sugar daddy. She said, Your Honor, I can't do jury duty because I got to sleep with old money bags over here and then go home to my husband afterwards. Now, look, if the husband's in on it and he's cool with it, all right, they're adults. It's their life. It's not my style, but whatever. They're adults. Do what you want to do. I live and let live without judgment.
I hate to keep, but I got to ask this. So if the sugar daddy is a source of income, then is it prostitution? If that's how you're living, because she has to be there for those days, that means she's counting, either she's enjoying the experience so much she doesn't want to miss it, or she's counting on that money to live. Doesn't that make it prostitution?
By the way, I now call that activity the experience, thanks to you. So she has the experience with the sugar daddy. He lavishes gifts and money, and then she goes home to her husband afterwards. Listen, if that's your lifestyle, it's your lifestyle. I'm not here to judge.
And if the husband says, how much you make this time?
Yeah.
I mean.
That's fine. If he's cool with it, I'm cool with it. All right? It's not my bag, but if he's cool with it, I'm cool with it. I just love that jury duty came down to, sorry, Your Honor. Can't do it. Got to take care of old sugar money bags over there.
So was there anybody else left, in that room? No way. You and I are sitting there, especially you. If we're sitting there and she says that, there's laughter going on so loud, it's
100%.
drowning everything out.
Then they go, Rob, are you available? And I say no. And they go, why? And I go, because I got to interview that lady. I got to interview that lady and find out how that works. I am more interested
you
in that.
immediately say, yeah, I'm not available on the 4th, every day that she just said.
All right, a couple of other stories I want to get into before we get to that Tony Schiavone interview here in about 10 minutes. I know Kevin called into the show earlier. Kevin's a big Lakers guy. Kevin called into the show earlier, and Kevin said, I don't care where LeBron goes. I just want him to go. I want him gone. I said, wait a minute. Braun was giving you multiple 50-point games. Braun's the only guy that when he played, he looked like he was putting an effort, and you want him gone. Kevin said, yeah, he's got to go. I said, why? He said, because this load management thing is dumb. He said, look, if I'm capable of putting up 50, I got to go put up 50 every night. Those are my guys. This is my team. If I can do a 50-point game, I need to be out there every game putting up 50. And if LeBron was 23, I'd get it. LeBron is 37 years old, y'all. Like, I know he is in remarkable shape. My guy is closer to 40 than 30, certainly than 20. 37. Y'all, I am 37 years old. Yesterday, I carried a mid-sized bass drum for 3 hours, and I wanted to die when I got in bed last night. LeBron is giving you about 70 NBA games a year, and in about 20 of them, he's putting up 50, 40 to 50, all right? This whole thing about hating on, now, there are other guys with load management. I'm like, I don't know. But this whole thing about getting mad at LeBron because he sits out a few games, I don't know if you know this. Scratch that. You do. When you get to be 37, your body doesn't work like it did when it was 27, certainly when it was 22. Mine doesn't. I don't know about yours. If yours does, good. You know how bad mine is? When we watched that Armando Bacot rolling his ankle video yesterday, Lonzo, my ankle started hurting from watching that video. That's how bad a shape I'm in, right? My dude is in remarkable shape at 37. And if dude is giving me 50, 55 NBA games a year, and by the way, no big deal here, winning the NBA scoring title, right? Like, what an amazing argument. Hey, Braun, I know you scored more points than anybody else in the association, but I'm going to need more out of you. Braun, I know you have put more on the board than anybody else in the game, but that's not quite enough for me. The load management thing, you don't have to like it because back in my day, you played every game you can play in. I get it. But guys, what if I told you that if LeBron plays 2, sits 1, and plays in a third, he will put up more points and do more than if he played all 4. But that doesn't make sense, Rob, because it's less minutes. Right. But that day of rest, talk to, and I'm not one, but talk to powerlifters, right? Talk to guys whose job is physical, and they will tell you, I am better off if I do a few days of working out and then have a rest day to let the muscles recover, let the joints recover, get some therapy. Jump up the protein shakes to get the muscles recovered and ready to go. A day of rest is good for literally everybody. I don't know why it is you think it wouldn't be for LeBron because reasons.
I get Kevin's point. Here's the thing. They were a couple games. If they won those couple games that he set down, they'd be in the playoffs. So what's it look like? It looks like LeBron didn't care about making it into the playoffs, so he took it easy those days. If he plays those days, they probably win those games, and they're in the play-in.
Cool. I agree. There's also games where LeBron went out and put up 42 and they lost because nobody else on that team could do anything. Ain't not one of y'all called and went, hey, Russell Westbrook needs to get cut. Carmelo needs to get cut. Rando needs to get cut. Everybody turns the guns on Braun like it's Braun and only Braun's fault the Lakers made the playoff because he sat down for 12 games this year. Like there were any other Lakers that you could go, no. If Braun would, no. Braun did play in games the Lakers lost, putting up 42, 8, and 7. And y'all get mad at that dude like Westbrook wasn't going 1 of 15 from 3. But did Kevin call me and go, I need Russell Westbrook gone? No. LeBron's fault. Did Kevin call me and go,
I think Westbrook.
Carmelo's fault?
I think that goes without saying. Those guys that you're talking about.
Right, then let's say that. Why is everybody pointing the guns at LeBron like it's all on LeBron?
Because even you have mentioned that possibly LeBron is actually the GM and brought those guys in. So it's kind of LeBron's fault that those guys are not panning out from a certain standpoint.
Anyway, the point of all of this was that Adam Silver said that, quote, there is a trend of star players not participating in a full complement of games. I'm not standing here saying I have a great solution. Part of the issue is injuries. One of the things we have focused on at the league office and we're spending, and we had begun to spend a lot of time on pre-pandemic, and there were things we can do in terms of sharing information, resources around the league to improve best practices. The other way we can get at it in terms of player participation is creating other incentives. The play-in tournament, I thought, was the beginning of creating renewed incentives for teams to remain competitive and be fighting for playoff position. It might be through an in-season tournament and changes in format where we can get at it. None of that's going to work, Adam. If guys are taking games off when they're in a regular playoff, why do you think a mid-season tournament is going to inspire them? It's not. Except that it is reality. You don't have to like it, but it is. Quick break. The great Tony Schiavone with us in the next segment of The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Yeah, just leave it off. I'm working on it.
This actually has become a retreat for my wife. I just, she. How do I get back?
Go back to the main studio and log back in. Go back to the main page.
I'm still logged in. It's kind of like, Dracula and garlic or whatever, so it keeps her away. I keep my mascot bug with me for 13 years.
I didn't think Tony Schiavone's Nerd Cave could get better. If you ever watch a stream that Lonzo and I do when we're from the house, we have a similar background. As if I didn't think it would better, Tony Schiavone spins and reveals that he's also a dog guy. I didn't need to like him more, but I do. Tony, man, great to have you. Looking forward to SC Comic-Con. You will be a guest this weekend, and I guess we'll start there. After having been in the ring, in the Yep, I'm working on it. Best I can do for now. Yep. Yep, it's just covering us. Full screened it like we did on the TV. Shared the screen, made the screen the product. Because you can share your screen and make it the whole screen. And it covers up everything. Wow, my mom says she can't hear the interview. Why? Oh, she's probably behind.
We're, my people are Harlan, Kentucky, without being in Kentucky, and so I didn't put those earrings in because I'm thinking the boys that I grew up with are just going to give me so much hell about it. And then one of the guys says, "Somebody said you had earrings on TV," and I went, "Yeah." I said, "Well, go ahead and put them on. We want to see them." So I went in the bathroom at my mom's house and stuck them on and came back out, and they say, "Look good, look good." Came home and a guy called me on my cell phone. He said, "I was just kidding you about those earrings. They look like." So that's true story. And so I just try to, it was one of those, again, one of those midlife, or as I call it, 3/4 life crisis, where you just look at yourself and say, yeah, why not?
Why not? I love it.
And to top that off, and Alonzo, you'll be happy to. I know I can't show it here because of your shirt. I also, in this midlife crisis, got 2 tattoos. I got one with a Superman logo right there. You
Look
see
at him.
Okay, and then the other one, I got my dog Bug. I got his likeness on my other shoulder there. So I'm just going all crazy. I don't. I mean, just
Lack of sleep is.
I gotta tell you, I feel like at this point, like I might be Tony Schiavone in the future at this rate. My man's got Superman tattoos, a dog in a nerd cave, and talks about wrestling for a living. Best life ever.
Rob and I were at AEW last Wednesday in Columbia. It was an awesome show. You got a tremendous pop when you came out.
Yeah.
What is the biggest pop that you ever heard in your entire career, and who was it for?
Well, I've got 2. The first one that I remember more than any that really left an impression on me. I'll give you 3. The first one was when Nikita Koloff turned babyface at the Charlotte Coliseum after Magnum TA had his wreck in 1986. They didn't know what to do. Nikita was a super heel. Dusty was booking. So they decided that Dusty would be attacked in the cage by the 4 Horsemen. Nikita would come in. You're thinking Nikita is going to help them attack Dusty, and he helps Dusty. Fans went crazy. Never will forget Jim Crockett, the late Jim Crockett, who died recently, looked at me, he said, man, that brought tears to my eyes. That was so good. That Hulk Hogan coming into Madison Square Garden in 1989 when I got a chance to call an event on Madison Square Garden Network with Lord Alfred Hayes in 1989. That was a big pop. But then back in late 2021 when CM Punk arrived in Chicago and that music hit to open the show, I mean, we just welcomed everybody to the show. We paused, the music hit, and the people went bananas. That's probably one of the biggest pops, if not the biggest pop I've ever heard. It's very easy for me to say it's one that happened recently because it's fresh in my mind. But that Nikita Koloff pop was incredible. That was, and fans were different back then. You know, fans today, for better or for worse, I don't mind it. Fans realize they're part of the show. Back then, they were just raw fans. In the 80s, they were just wrestling fans. They didn't think they were part of the show. So,
do you think that helps or hurts wrestling? Right. So we were having a discussion on the show earlier this afternoon, Tony, and I said, listen, as a guy who just loves wrestling, I feel like what's interesting about AEW is it feels more real, right? It feels more like a wrestling show. It feels like it's a wrestling show about the wrestling. It's about wrestling matches, whereas other companies are about storylines that happen to culminate in wrestling matches. But you've got the case where fans now understand that, they are kind of their own character within a show. And I think fans, especially with social media now, know that they have the ability to influence storylines by putting their voice out about what they like and what they don't like and which direction. Do you think that's been good, bad, or just it is what it is for the business?
What's that?
well, I'm not really a social media guy. I do have Twitter. I do have Facebook. I do have Instagram. I don't look at them. I don't keep them on my phone. My daughter does all of it for me because I don't want to get dragged down into that stuff. So, but I realize the power of it. And I do realize that fans can influence things by just their opinion online. Fans these days, you see reaction shots these days, where a fan does this, they know they do that so they be on they're on TV. I mean, I get it, they're not fooling me. And I'll hear somebody say, "Oh, look at that show." When I'm backstage doing Rampage, great reaction shot, I'll go, "Thank you, they were on camera." Okay. But I don't mind it. I think it's good. I think what's great is that we have done such a great job of bringing great wrestling to them and great matches that they know they're part of the show, but they get involved in it. They get genuinely involved in it. For instance, last night, which will air coming up on Rampage on Friday night, we had Jon Moxley against Wheeler Yuta, and the fans were it's the last match of the night. You think the fans are worn out by then. But the fans were into it big time. They were so excited about it. And they were genuinely became a part of the show because of their excitement, not because of wanting to be on camera.
All right. So I'm just curious about something because when MJF or Max Caster comes out, which one are you more nervous about? because you don't know what either one of them are going to say. Is it?
Yeah.
Are you ever worried that that's it? That's way too far.
No, with MJF, I am, because he has a tendency to be out of line. Max Caster, no, because that's pretty much been put under wraps. Tony's got to approve what the rap is now.
Okay.
Okay. But because that's Burnley. I mean, that he had, I don't know what he said one time. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he got suspended because of a rap one time. But MJF is like, well, he's out of his mind. Like they were chanting the other one night about his religion being Jewish. And then he said something about Jesus Christ. And when he said it, I remember thinking, he is out of his freaking mind. So I went backstage and I said, what, why would you say something like that? He said, did you hear what they were chanting about me and my religion? I said, yeah, but stop. Okay. So he concerns me.
I need that. Like that needs to be MJF's next T-shirt. MJF, he concerns me.
No, the MJF T-shirt I want is MJF, he sucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta tell you, Tony, just because I think you'll chuckle at it. When we went to that Columbia show, as long as I will tell you, I'm the guy that takes a little bit of enjoyment in riling people up for laughs here and there. So I went MJF scarf. I wore a big diamond ring, our local soccer team's championship ring. Did the hair and everything. And I got to tell you, Tony Schiavone, I've been to wrestling events for years, and I'm a fan of this guy who's fighting this guy, and you're a fan of that guy. Talk some smack. The people, the stuff that people were saying to me because I had a scarf on would have made most drunken sailors blush. Yeah. And I thought that's how a guy knows how this business works, even if he must scare guys like Tony Schiavone when he grabs a microphone.
Yeah, well, that whole story says, Rob, something about you. I don't know.
It absolutely, it says a lot about him for sure.
You're out of your freaking mind.
Yeah. Highest compliment from Tony Schiavone of All Elite Wrestling joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Up today. We got another minute or two, Tony. Would you, if you don't mind, from your perspective, and obviously we know your role on television, you're also serving a backstage production role, so you've got, you've got eyes on how this is working.
Right.
What would you say is the number one, maybe the top two reasons? I mean, All Elite Wrestling, we have seen many wrestling companies come and go trying to accomplish what AEW has done. What would you say are the one or two things taking place either on or behind the scenes at AEW that has led to the rise of finally a viable second wrestling company?
Well, first of all, it's a good clearance. It's being on TNT and then on TBS. But that has a lot to do with it. Secondly, it's being able to take talent that fans knew on the internet, independent wrestling talent, and put them on the big stage that fans already follow. Fans, internet and independent wrestling fans are very, very passionate about their stars. And they've been following these guys and these women for quite a while, and now they see them on TV, and it means a lot. Also, I think that being able to work for Tony Khan has been a breath of fresh air for many people because he knows how to treat people. I've worked for a lot of people. I've worked for Jim Crockett, Jim Hurd, Kip Fry, Bill Watts, Eric Bischoff, Ole Anderson. These are just some of my bosses. Vince McMahon. No one knows how to treat a person better than Tony Khan. And that creates a great working environment. That creates a working environment where the talent want to do what's their very best for the company. And that comes across, I think, to the fans. That comes across in our shows. We are genuinely excited about being there. I think you hear it in my voice. I think you hear it with Excalibur and JR, our announce team, Taz. I think you see it, the level of effort the guys and girls put in the ring. And I think that's all because of the leadership that we have, because he knows how to treat people well. And once they come here, I'm not saying that they've been treated badly at the WWE. Everybody has their own journey. But when a person has come here from the WWE and sees how we're getting treated here, they're thinking, wow, this is the place to be. And that leads to a better work rate. So I think that's why we put on a great show. And I think that's one of the reasons that we've caught on like we've caught on.
All right. So you talking about how people are treated. Paul White was on the show a couple weeks ago. And I just wonder if you can confirm or deny this. He says that Bryan Danielson is lurking everywhere, trying to jump on the back and the neck of large men such as himself and Mark Henry.
He called him the biggest bully in AEW, which killed me.
Yeah, so can you confirm, is Bryan Danielson the biggest bully in all of AEW?
Well, Brian's never tried to jump on my back, but yeah, I would think Paul needs to be careful about Bryan Danielson. Brian thinks that he can pretty much take down anybody, and it would be very difficult to take down Paul White. I think we all know that, right? And I still call him Big Show. So when I'm doing elevation with him, I got to think along with Big Paul White, and Mark Henry would. I don't know. Mark Henry would. It wouldn't be tough to take down. Mark would just kind of lay over on his side and fall asleep. I hope you get him on here one day and tell him I said that.
Oh, 100% want to.
Yeah, we've had Mark Henry on before.
Yeah, we've had
also,
Mark on.
so.
We've had Paul White. We had a friend of yours, Dr. Britt Baker, D&D, who was probably my favorite interview thus far.
Yeah.
Aside from this one.
Aside from this one, obviously. That being said, when you see Adam Cole walking, are you keeping eye contact with him when you walk by, Tony Schiavone?
Honestly, no. I've made it well known that away from TV, he is one of the truly nicest guys ever. Really, really is. He is one of the biggest nerds ever. I'll give you an Adam Cole story very quickly. I was in the ring interviewing, I guess it was the Young Bucks, and it was the first time that Adam Cole was going to be in the ring. And Adam said, okay, so I'll come to the ring. And he says, I'll tell you to get out of the ring. And he said, I'll call you a nerd. He said, because that'll pop people, because people know that I really am a nerd. And he really is. I mean, the biggest ever. So I said, okay. So in the ring, ladies and gentlemen, and Adam Cole goes in, he comes in, he looks at me, he says, get out of my ring, Schiavone. And I stand there. He said, go, leave. And I stand there and I look at him and I go, nerd. Nerd. Trying to give him his freaking line, a little dumb. Okay. And he said, get out of my ring, nerd. And I get out of the ring. I go in the back after the show, and Tony Khan says, why didn't you jump out of the ring as soon as Adam Cole said to leave the ring? I said, because he blew his freaking line. I was waiting for the nerd line for him to get out of the ring. And so I got in a little bit of trouble about that. But Adam Cole's a great guy. He really, really is. I get it why Britt Baker loves him so much, and just truly a great performer. Now, when the cameras are rolling, he can kiss my ass and he can go wash his hair. And at least I know that my body looks probably as good as his. So that, I really like him. But one of these days I just may take his girlfriend, which will be a great story, isn't it? Huh?
I can't wait.
Young, talented wrestling champion. Girlfriend is stolen by a 64-year-old guy. Ding, ding. End of story.
Tony Schiavone from All Elite Wrestling here on the Rob Brown Show. One more for you, Tony, and then we'll cut you loose because I know you got a lot to plan to get here for South Carolina Comic-Con coming up this weekend. We know, and obviously when Sting showed up, there was a production made about having Tony Schiavone drop "It's Sting" on everybody, which is an iconic call. When you know you've got a call coming up that you are going to want to lead into, is that do you as a broadcaster have any type of preparation routine that you get to get the lungs warmed up or the vocal cord stretched out, or have you been doing it long enough it's pretty natural? And B, what would I need to say to the great Tony Schiavone to beg him to give me a show introduction with Tony Schiavone's voice on it?
Oh, I'll be glad to give an introduction. I live, of course, in the Atlanta area, so I've been going to the Emory Voice Clinic for a long, long time. And a shout out to Brian Petty, one of the speech pathologists there, and I call him my speech coach. He has given me warm-up exercises, which I do, and he works with opera singers and singers in the Atlanta area as well. So yeah, I do warm-ups, and I need to do them more. I didn't start doing warm-ups really until I got out of wrestling, believe it or not, because back in the Nitro days, good God, my voice was in bad shape because we would do 3 hours of Nitro, then we would do 2 hours of Thunder, and then on the weekends, maybe we'd do a 3-hour pay-per-view, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs about any I would see on TV. My voice, just like everything else, when you get older, it changes. So I do use the Embry Voice Clinic, and I do have warm-up exercises that I do.
Tony Schiavone here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. He is going to be right here in Greenville at the Greenville Convention Center this Saturday and Sunday for SC Comic-Con. You can grab your tickets at sccomiccon.com. Tony will be selling copies of his book, which he will sign autographs for, take pictures, do the whole nine at SC Comic-Con. Tony Schiavone, it has been a pleasure, my man. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you this weekend. Look forward to seeing you on TV with All Elite Wrestling for many years to come, I hope.
Rob, Alonzo, I hope both of you come. Rob, do not dress up as MJF. For God's sake, don't. Okay. And one final thing, Arn Anderson's going to be there as well, and his son Brock.
We may not have told you this, Tony. We had Arn Anderson on the show 2 days ago for the same reason. What a heck of an interview he is as well.
He's the best. The good news is, and I helped arrange this, the nursing home is allowing him to leave for the weekend so he can be at SC Comic-Con. So I'm very proud to be able to work that, and I'll wheel him back to the car, and he will have his teeth in his head before he gets to SC Comic-Con.
Love it.
Very happy with that.
Absolutely love it. All Elite Wrestling's Tony Schiavone, the legendary voice, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate again at SC Comic-Con this weekend at the Greenville Convention Center. We got to take a break. We're back right after this. This is the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
New to the Upstate. Hey, it's DA. Wake up with a morning jolt of in-depth sports analysis and discussion every weekday at 6 on the DA Show. Only on the Fan Upstate.
I disagree, Steven. I don't think he called me Alonzo.
I didn't think he did either.
Yeah, I think you misheard because I can guarantee you that if I heard him say Alonzo, I would have edited out the part. And plus, Tony Schiavone can call me whatever he wants. I'm fine with that. We haven't had anybody that's been a bad interview.
Really haven't.
But, I mean, Tony is Arm was great. Tony is great. I mean, you know. That's the thing. When you do an interview, you have no idea how it's going to go until you actually get into it. With Tony, right away, knew it was going to be fun.
And he seemed relatively sincere at the end when he was like, call me anytime, get John, I'm coming back. So we may do him like every 6 months or so. We'll get Tony on.
I hope so. That'd be great.
How about Tony freaking Schiavone? Tony Schiavone here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Phenomenal interview. Great interview. Enjoyed that a lot.
But you know what, Rob? That wasn't the entire interview.
No,
I don't know if you knew that. That wasn't the entire interview. The entire interview was actually over 29 minutes long.
Yep.
And you can watch that entire interview.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes, something like that.
We got, I will be uploading that very shortly after the show, the full interview, including I asked him, there was a relatively notorious fallout between Tony Schiavone and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Bobby the Brain Heenan has for years been my favorite wrestling character on the microphone, right? There have been some great guys on the call, JR and Gorilla Monsoon and young Vince McMahon. The best guy in history on the mic was Bobby the Brain Heenan. He was the fastest, the wittiest, the smartest, and the biggest chicken boat heel of all time. Loved Bobby the Brain. There was a notorious fallout between Bobby and Tony. And not only did Tony say in that interview, which you can hear the full interview coming up on, well, probably about 30 minutes after the show.
I want to stop you there. He tells you who's to blame.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Exactly where I was
he
going.
doesn't. We don't want to say who he says until you listen to it yourself.
Tony got into what happened because he and Bobby the Brain worked very closely together for many years. He got into what happened in the unfortunate rivalry between he and Bobby the Brain Heenan late in their career and was very candid about how it happened, who was to blame, et cetera, et cetera. Then he went on to tell a phenomenal Bobby the Brain Heenan story about their time on the road together that we just unfortunately had to cut from the on-air version due to time. But you can hear that story when I post the video very shortly after the show's over. So make sure you're on all our social media pages because I will post it there for you. Looking forward to getting that up so you can listen to it. So thanks to Tony Schiavone. Thanks to John Schneider, our contact at AEW. Thanks to SC Comic-Con for helping us set that whole thing up. Glad to have him and on our Arn Anderson on this week. Phenomenal couple of interviews. As far as us, we will be at SC Comic-Con tomorrow evening. Probably scratch that. I'll be there most of the day. But the Upstate Pulse is going to be airing from 7 to 9 on WORD. More importantly, you can come by and hang out with us while we do the show live.
Yeah, you can. If you've ever wondered if Rob is as loud as he thinks he is, there's going to be an auction going on for charity. Rob will be so loud that they'll have to figure out a way around it. They'll have to wait till he's done talking.
Help me get my bets in, though.
There we go.
Come on by, hang out with us while we do the Upstate Pulse. I'll be sitting in with Lonzo tomorrow. Well, I think I'm sitting with Lonzo. I will be there. I don't know if he's going to let me on the air or not. That's up for debate.
Absolutely, man. You're star power.
Come on to the come see the Upstate Pulse at SC Comic-Con. Tomorrow from 1 to 5 p.m., Bet the Cycle is going to be on the BetQL network, which you can pick up on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, or you can listen on WTPT 3 HD right here in Greenville. I will be on with former MLB pitcher Cody Decker from 1 to 5 talking baseball gambling. Hope you will join me for my first ever nationally syndicated show. Looking forward to that. For everybody else, have a great weekend. I'll drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. We'll see you back here on Monday for a brand new kick-ass edition of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. stream. Thanks for hanging out, dudes and dudettes. We will see you back here Monday.